Hey everyone, and welcome to the Psyched to Practice podcast, your one stop for practical and useful clinical information, masterful insights from experts in the field, and a guide to daily living. I'm your host, Paul Wagner. Just me again today. Wanted to do another piece of supplemental content here, and it's something that's been coming up in sessions for me more recently. And so I thought I'd share it as a potential talking point for you in sessions, or just different ways of approaching kind of a complex topic. And we've talked about ADHD a number of times, a number of different ways. I had some great experts on the podcast talking about it. There's one aspect of it that I think is always a little confusing, especially when I'm talking about it with clients. And when we're talking about executive functioning, there's this concept of metacognition. So if you have done anything surrounding executive functioning, probably not a brand new term for you, but still maybe one that's kind of hard to define. So typically I like to talk about metacognition is self-aware thinking or thinking about thinking. I like to explain it to individuals as kind of like this dialogue that we can have that lets us talk about what our plan is, lets us talk about how our plan went, evaluating things, being able to adapt on the fly. And I think it's something that especially those with ADHD, but also surrounding anxiety, depression, trauma, just so many more areas, can really be a skill that might be challenging. And so I think there's a lot of value in bringing this up in the conversation when working with clients, because sometimes when we don't have metacognition, we're not able to use it effectively, we get caught or stuck in this very reactive response. And that might be why we are procrastinating. It might be why we keep trying the same thing over and over again. And it really can be challenging to break that. So one of the metaphors I like to talk about with metacognition is thinking about it as a GPS, almost kind of like our brain is our GPS. And so when we have a goal, we have to think about what our starting point is and our destination. Same if we're putting something in Apple Maps or Google Maps or whatever GPS service we use, we need to start and stop. And with goals, it's the same thing. So where do we want to end up at? Where are we starting? And the thing that I think is so valuable about this metaphor is, what are the different routes that we can take to achieve this goal? Sometimes there's some not great routes. Like if there's an option that we can bypass a toll, we don't have to maybe get on any major highways and it's the quickest route. Why go through a route that's going to bring us tolls and we have to go on a major highway? It maybe takes much longer to get to, but it's still a route that gets us to that destination. And if taking or exploring that route serves a purpose, that can be helpful. So I think it's important that we not just talk about what is the easiest or the quickest route, but let's really define what route is going to serve our clients best, because sometimes that quick route does have a toll, or that quick route really does have some challenges. And then we have to backtrack or we end up getting lost. Same as if we had a detour construction. How are we rerouting? How are we updating? So it's really important that we can talk about what our goal is and where we're starting. And when we're thinking about it in this way, I like to talk about, going with clients of like, okay, well, what was our plan going in? Or if we're coming up with a goal that's already like, what is our plan? Like, how are you hoping to approach this? How does where you're starting at get you to the outcome that you're looking for? And if we're reviewing experience, being able to kind of go through that evaluation and saying, all right, like, let's give some feedback. Like, what happened? Did it feel like you took that route and it went exactly as expected? Again, kind of using this GPS idea. Did we arrive at the destination in that time frame that was expected? Or did we have to change some plans? So, if you had plans with your friends, but first you were going to get your homework done and then you were going to go to the gym and then meet up with your friends, how did it go with getting our homework done and going to the gym? Were we able to complete those things, or did we end up skipping one of those? Or did we cut it short? Or did we kind of maybe not do our best in either one of those? And what's the purpose that it served? How important is it that we get to hang out with our friends at that time? If we have plans and there's a specific time crunch, might be more important. If it's something where it's open-ended and we're just in a rush to get to the fun part, maybe we need to step back and really, again, evaluate this pathway, evaluating our path and saying, is this serving me well? So being able to bring up this idea of metacognition, I think just helps for more effective conversation and lets us be self-reflective in the therapy office. Something I wanted to share here with you and see if it's something that could be helpful. Please, if you have any ideas of sharing different executive functioning strategies or ways that you think really connect with clients, please share them on social media. We'll be back next time, but until then, be well and stay psyched.